Hey everybody, we're about to get to a great episode of the Adventist Hoops podcast, but before we do, I wanted to just check in with Drew Meckelberg. He's the head men's coach and athletic director at Union Adventist University. And Drew, we've been talking a lot recently because we've been planning together this second annual Adventist Hoops All-American weekend that's happening at Union Adventist University in Lincoln, Nebraska, July 29 through August 2 here in 2026. What are you most looking forward to about this event being at Union?
Dustin, we are really looking forward to having everybody on our campus. We love the community that we've grown. We love the camaraderie, getting to interact with other coaches from the Adventist realm, as well as players. Seeing the best players from the country on our campus is something we're really looking forward to.
Well, we're looking forward to being there, and I'll tell you what, Union's going to be a great partner. This event is happening because not only they have the people that are going to help partner with us to make this put the event together. You also have the facilities. The All-Star Game is going to be at the legendary Thunderdome on Saturday night, August 1. But one of the requirements of having this event is that we got to have multiple courts for all of the athletes that are going to be there. There's drills, there's practices, scrimmages, so we need more than one facility. And you guys have that in that brand new wellness and fitness center there on campus. It's pretty big. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the Reiner Wellness Center was built 2 years ago, and we have absolutely loved having it. We've got 2 full-sized college basketball courts. We've got a turf area that can be used. We've got a state-of-the-art weight room, a swimming pool, 25-meter swimming pool, and a running track, cardio equipment. It is all going to be used that weekend, and we cannot wait to show off our new facility.
We are excited to use it. We're going to use, I think, every inch of the campus there for that weekend. Drew, I also wanted to ask you just about Union as a destination for athletes that are out there that are wanting to play at the next level. Union just recently joined the NCCAA. What is that, and why would Union be a good spot for someone to land if they're interested in playing, not even just basketball, at the next level?
Yeah, we've been really excited about our affiliation with the National Christian College Athletic Association. We have played a lot of these teams for over 40 years, but now we get a chance to legitimize our program and play against these same teams, but compete at the collegiate level for championships and tournaments and all of those good things. And so we offer men's soccer, women's volleyball, men's and women's basketball at the NCCAA level. But then we also have a golf team and a acrobatics gymnastics team that is a huge part of what we do as an athletic program here on our campus.
Well, if you decide to make the trip out to Union, to Lincoln this summer to watch the second annual Adventist Hoops All-American All-Star Games on Saturday night, August 1, you'll get to see all of these places, these facilities, and the great program that Drew has going there. A long history, a great tradition of athletics there at Union Adventist University. And just a big thank you that goes out to Union for partnering to make this second annual All-American Weekend happen. We couldn't do it without them, and we're looking forward to coming out to Nebraska this summer. Thanks, Drew.
You bet. Can't wait. We're looking forward to it.
All right, now let's get to this episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the Adventist Hoops podcast. I'm Dustin Kalm alongside Josh Boyko and Adrian Hargrove, regulars now on the podcast. And we're excited to talk to Andrews University's women's head coach, Kaya Williams. And we're going to get to her in just a minute. Josh, though, wanted to hear, you've been doing some more writing. You keep writing. You keep writing all these different stories in Adventist basketball. Tell us a little bit about the latest story that you're working on for Adventist Hoops blog.
Yeah, over at Columbia Academy, we've got Evan Akrawi, an Adventist All-American this year, and just the story of how he got involved with basketball over there, and the family tie-ins as well that goes along with that. So just a little bit of a sneak peek, if you will, for Coach Wheel doing a great job over there at Columbia Adventist Academy, and then also Evan making Adventist All-American as well.
Awesome. And they made in Washington State, they made the state tournament. And had a great run this year. So really exciting success for them that we'll love to shine a light on. So awesome. Thanks, Josh, for all your work on all the writing. I think it's a great thing that we're able to add. So, all right. Adrian, you doing good?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Looking forward to hear what Coach got to talk about today.
Yeah, all right. Well, with that, let's bring on Kaya Williams from Andrews University, head women's basketball coach at her alma mater. Kaya, welcome to the Adventist Hoops podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate being back.
I was going to say, Kaya is a repeat guest, and she was on the very first Adventist Hoops podcast that I ever did a few years ago. So you've come full circle now, and you got a few years under your belt. This was your third year. I'm curious, from that initial podcast conversation that we did when I think you had barely gotten the job and you really didn't have much of even a recruiting cycle. I think you got it maybe in the summer. I don't remember, but there wasn't a lot of time and you were thrown into it. Now you're a few years in. So how did this season go for you?
This season was a fresh start, to say the least. I think overall, however, I had in my mind going into this year truly establishing a solid foundation. So when I'm looking back on that being primary goal, I think that was definitely achieved. There is definitely way more work to be done. But when it just goes with myself and my staff, like laying that foundation, setting a standard, holding, our players to a standard and having an identity to us, that's something. Being newer and coming into a program and kind of getting the ball rolling again. In comparison to first year Dustin talking with you, there was a lot of that I just didn't know. Okay, so I know that we need plays. I know that we need defensive strategies and everything else that comes with coaching. Like that's just something like going through it. You don't know until, you find out kind of along the way. So that was just one of the biggest things coming into this year that absolutely we needed to really put a lot of intentionality into, determining like what do we want to look like? What do we want to be known for as a program? What do our players want to feel they're representing at the end of the day? I don't want anybody to ever be asked like, why are you there? And they can't tell you, or like, what are you getting from Andrews University women's basketball? And they can't tell you. So that's kind of one of the biggest things. We had a lot of young players this year with us kind of being in full reset mode. We had one grad student, two seniors technically. So one is going into a PT program. So it kind of was like junior, technically transitioning into the PT program. So three that won't be possibly returning going into that senior year. However, the rest are freshmen, sophomore, all first-time college players. We had one player that had played collegiate basketball this year ever and had only played a year. So that being said, we expected a lot of learning curves. We didn't have, the natural veteran leadership of just having seniors on a team where you have incoming freshmen or juniors on a team and people are, being able to get taken under a wing and bring that component. So that was something that we anticipated, that everyone being new and everything being so nuanced to everyone, between just the pace of college basketball, the expectations and balance of just being new to college, period, on top of being a student athlete. All of those different things, of course, we as coaches had to understand that we've also been in this seat, because sometimes I think we get frustrated at the fact of like why aren't we getting it? And we want it to be an immediate thing. But just going back to when we were also players, like everything takes time. So that's a lot of what we were focusing on, was that 1% this year. So I think when we were looking at the 1% gains, we did make a lot of those daily, every day, just showing up. We had a lot of players that just love to get after it and love to work. So that makes a difference when you're not begging and pleading for players to want to get better. And again, that speaks to just our culture and different things. That's the standard. And it's if you don't believe in what we're doing here, like, you can't really rock with us, and that's just what it is for our program. So that's kind of like what this year looks like with the ups and downs. We had a hard season record-wise and things like that. That's nothing I'll shy away from. I've been there as a player, and that doesn't scare me at all, because I am a competitor, and I like to see people again. Like, yep, y'all got us on the first year, and now we're back, and people are like, oh, that's Andrews. And now, like, the goal is to show up, and people are like, oh, that's Andrews, and it's it's sweet until it's not. So like, nothing is set in stone ever. It's whoever wants it more and who's willing to continue to put in the work for the longest amount of time. So that's what the year kind of looked like, and it's still very early on, so I'm excited.
I'm curious, you mentioned a lot of the youth that you had on the roster this year. And, from that first year to this year, how have you developed a coaching
staff, and how did you lean on your assistants when there's so much that needs to be addressed throughout all of the inexperience and youth that you have on your team?
Yeah, so I was blessed. The Lord is good. So one of my assistants actually was a former player on the women's team. I had the privilege of assisting during the time that she was there. She was a part of the team that actually qualified for the playoffs in 2020, I think it was, like whatever that year was, right before COVID. So yeah, she's one of the players that was able to continue. She came a year after me, so I hated that I didn't get to play with her, but continued and led first ever team to qualify for the USCAA playoffs. So she was so graciously willing to come on board and help out as one of the assistants. Another one of our assistants was a former player for the men's Cardinals basketball team. He also great shooter. So I was like, hey man, like, skills wise, like, I'm really, really big on skills development and things like that. Great mind, basketball mind and knowledge, of course. So he definitely was a great addition. And then my other assistant, his name is also Kaya. His younger brother is also an All-American again this year, Kaya Magena. So his expertise also was great to have. He played collegiate D2 basketball. So just the group of all of us together and the passion and love that we have. We're all pretty still young, I would say. A lot of energy to try to keep up with the energy that comes with, generation of kids. But no, yeah, they definitely were a big help. I think having people that you can trust to just take different responsibilities allows you to kind of narrow what you have. So if I don't know, was doing different, more like game plan type things during practice, and wanted to just focus on the offensive component or the defensive strategy for that day. Like, when we're doing our small group skills things, like, that's something I can definitely give off to my, like, they can run the whole first half hour of practice. If I needed my assistant to do scouting reports, that's something he would go through and send to me and shoot to me, so I could just prep the actual practice, like logistics stuff of like organization of different things and for trips. And so just having people that are willing to do all the other little tasks that come along with the full responsibility of head coach. That was really, really big to have.
You had mentioned right away, pretty much, identity and establishing that was one of the first things that you were talking about. And how did having those assistants to kind of take care of the other little things, but also know player development and just personnel, how did you figure out what you're good at, and what were those things that you figured out you wanted to establish?
So are you speaking to the culture pieces, like the identity pieces, or in a different regard? I just wanted to make sure I understood your question.
Yes.
Yeah, so just how did you figure out what you guys excelled at as a basketball squad, and what were those things?
So that was something that was along the way, we were kind of figuring it out with having everyone new, because you can have a lot of individuals. We saw this at the All-American game also. Like, you have a lot of individual pieces, and then you have no idea what they're going to look like when you put them all together. So this year, I think the biggest thing for us was our athleticism, in the sense of we weren't that big. So like when we were thinking like strategy wise, a lot of our goals and things were playing at a faster push the ball transition type of style pace. With that goal in mind, we were thinking about, how can we strategize our practice plans and do different drills and scenarios and things to allow that to translate well to in game. We also had, of course, Dustin, you mentioned our All-American pickups that we added to our roster as well. So with them being solid guards, like a lot of basketball, we hear all the time, like create disadvantages and things like that. So we were really working a lot with our guards of like understanding the benefit of paint touches. Like you'll probably hear them talk about how much I and my coaching staff just talked about, like we gotta touch the paint, especially when you just see like percentage wise, like if we had a shot chart, like where are we getting our points from? And like from our perspective, again, being a new team and everyone not knowing how to score as effectively in college as maybe we were scoring in high school. Like I've had conversations with players like, how many points did you get off just transition baskets or fast breaks in high school versus college? Or how well could you just kind of body your way and kind of play bully ball to the basket? These girls are like completely different when you're in college, because everybody's good, everybody's big, everybody's athletic. Like I was a person that realized real quick when I got to college, like you can't do the same exact thing. So recognizing our strengths, to answer your question, Josh, was that get to the paint to kind of create those disadvantages. We play a lot of like kick out, high low type of games, pushing and transition, and then just coming up with things that allow us in practice to make us efficient and effective and being able to execute those things, in game.
You got your hand raised, Adrian. I'm waiting. You're ready.
Oh, I was waiting for you to tell me.
No, you're a host.
I'm in class, waiting to be called on. My question, Coach, is when we're talking about identity, how much of your personality do you think your team has taken on, or how do you implement that? If you'd like to, like, does this team, with somebody who knew what type of player you are, say, oh yeah, I can tell this is her team. Like they've taken on her personality.
So I pour a lot of my personality into the team for sure. A lot of like our culture and things. So just with our core values, like our first core value is staying hungry. I love the word insatiability just because I'm a person that can't get enough. Like I've always been the person that I don't even care about what other people are really doing. I just feel like there's always more that can be done. So that definitely is something that came from my mind and kind of how I am, that I'm now putting that on other players, because I know it's something people did for me, even when I was in moments, because we're just human and we're in moments where we do feel like I can't. And somebody's like, yes, you can't. Stop being dramatic. You can do it. So that being the case, like that's our first core value of just everybody really embracing that this is never enough. Like we can celebrate and do all that because we hit a goal, but that's not enough. Like we're never gonna like discredit the work that we've done, because absolutely we want to acknowledge every 1% of growth. But it's like, okay, what's next? And then our see the dream core value is us having the goals. I think sometimes we just do a lot of, and this is kind of my first season, I was kind of doing a lot of little things that were a part of coaching, but a lot of goals hadn't been established yet. So we couldn't really track like the direction that we were going and like how far away from that we were. It was kind of like, okay, we're doing this over here, we're doing this over here. So seeing the dream is our core value that just gets everyone aligned to being on the same page of collectively as a team, this is what we're trying to do. Whether that's specific things, like we had specific objectives, like with our field goal averages, with our stoppages, how many turnovers we wanted to limit ourselves, like those different metrics. Whether it's personal growth goals that we had, which they did create. All of our players had on-court basketball goals, personal development type goals that we could hold everybody accountable to. But it had to align. So everybody's individual goals, like if players are asking me like, Coach, what can I do? It's like, go look at our team goal sheet. That's like, go help accomplish one of those. Like, we don't need superheroes. We need somebody to rebound so we can meet our our rebound goal for the day. Like, we need good passes so that we can meet our turnover goal for the day. Our paint touches, like whatever it is. So everyone just being aligned and putting aside anything that might get in the way of us accomplishing that team goal. And then trusting our wings is just not overthinking, like we can't control outcomes. And that was something really big when I was playing, that people make mistakes. And like we talk about all the time as coaches, like the detriment of compounding mistakes when you can't like get that next play mentality. So I think that is really, really big, and being able to put in so much work that when you have confidence, when you show up on the court, it's like you're not doubting anything, because it's just something you've been doing for hours all week long, and that was game time, and now you get to have fun and put it all on display. And then you're not so anxious and worried like, what if, like you can't control that. It's like you can control getting a stop though. You can control being a menace on defense. You can control your energy, your intensity in the huddle. Like all of those controllables, that's our trust our wings factor of just doing your job, showing up. And like I tell them all the time, like I can't be mad at anything else because we know we've done our part. We've showed up, and like we're going to be happy with that. But then it's stay hungry and get back to work because that wasn't good enough. So like it's just a full circle to get us to being the best version of ourselves.
You mentioned two of your Average Hoops All-Americans that were on the team this year, Milka Naimongo, Braylon Isidro. It just got me thinking about the experience last year. You were head coach of one of the All-American teams during the game last year. What was that experience like for you in Southern California?
That was a phenomenal experience. I think the most fun was interacting, and I may have said this before, but interacting with a group of girls that just love the game of basketball and love to compete. There is no funner environment to be in where you're not, I don't know, like nothing is forced whatsoever. You don't have to do much other than say, all right, play ball, and everybody's getting after it. So no, it was super, super fun. All the girls seemed to have a good time, and the group I had for that game definitely played. I didn't even, truly do a lot of full practice or anything with them to get my personality out. Adrian, I know you were talking about like how does my personality, but they just kind of naturally, like I was like, oh, maybe we just like both got the same. Like I don't think that was me. I think that's just like a hooper thing, that when you like have been around this so long, you just kind of got that swag and understand like what being a not basketball player, like you a hooper, like you out there hooping, like there's a difference. And I think all of those girls at that event definitely had it. So that was super, super fun to be around.
Well, I was going to say your team picked up the win. You're not taking credit for it, but you definitely had an influence on it for sure. So congratulations. That was the first ever. And hopefully we'll see you back this summer in Nebraska at Union Adventist University for the second annual All-American Weekend. I wanted to go back. So we've been talking, kind of alluded to some of the reset, or the starting over. And I wanted to ask you, what do you mean by that? What transpired? Because you posted something about this, and Having a Suit shared it as well. But what transpired in that 2024-2025 season?
So as I mentioned, 23-24, when I did come in with the job, had not brought in players, kind of just walked in to the door and was like, all right, we're gonna see what's what. So we did inherit, however, I think we had four seniors. One player had actually formally assisted as a grad assistant. However, that was the COVID year, so that player had not played a full season of basketball. We kind of just were doing some training things. So that player and her sister, there were two, and then the other two were also seniors. So we had four seniors, and then the rest were, I believe, incoming freshmen. We had a lot of potential with that group. I think we definitely had skilled players that worked hard, loved to get after it. However, going into summer of that year and kind of following up, there was just a lack of wanting to continue for some, personal reasons for others that they didn't want to proceed, and kind of with what I was saying of, I've mentioned kind of like begging and pleading, and just in my my whole nature and being of loving basketball and having a passion for basketball, and sitting down with my staff and talking about like, where do we want to take the program, we were not going to be able to move forward with that commitment of players that don't really have a heart for it. And that's not any, any disrespect or anything for players that decide at any point in time that they want to stop playing basketball, whether it be after high school or college or elementary school, I don't know. Like, there's players all the time that are talented and are skilled, and for whatever reason, maybe just didn't, like, at different points in time, get that true love for the game cultivated to the extent of wanting to make the different sacrifices to play basketball, because sometimes it is like you're balancing a lot. It does come with being pushed. Like I said, I'm the type of person that's a competitor. So if you are not in a space of like, you kind of want to do this in a kind of mediocre type of way, or I'm just here, like, I enjoy it, but it's like, this isn't pickup basketball. So if you're here and you're in this program, like, we're here to compete, we're here to compete against our standard every day. And like, you've got to be able to commit to that. We didn't have that during that year. We were in the space where we were going to have to beg anybody that was willing to play basketball collegiately. I have been a collegiate basketball player. You guys have been around and been collegiate basketball players yourselves. That just was not going to be sustainable. So it wasn't even that we didn't have the numbers. We were lacking numbers. However, just in the sense of like what we wanted to build and the foundation piece, we were not going to be setting or starting off on anything solid. And as we all know, like, that wasn't going to hold, and it definitely was going to crumble. So we made that call to press pause. It gave me a great opportunity, like I mentioned earlier, in our conversation, to look at everything that we want to be known as, what we want to pour into our players, everybody that comes through our program, and who we want them to be when they're done here. So I think we were able to do that, and I still do not like that we had to do that, but I do feel in my heart that it was the right decision, so I don't regret that at all.
Was this a popular decision that you made? Or was everybody kind of being sarcastic, but maybe everybody just sort of understood it too?
I mean, I needed the approval from the right people, of course, to make that decision, and I did have that. So I kind of consulted with a few others, but
it took some courage, and not knowing all the details, that had to take some courage to do, because that's a big thing to just straight up cancel a whole season. What if you had done the season? What would that have done to what you were trying to build?
I don't think we would be where we're at, to be honest with you. I think, for one, when we did cancel the season, I was able to, I don't know if you're aware that I did assist for Jared Rusher, who's our men's coach, last year. So with not having a ton of coaching experience, as I mentioned, I grad assistant, but on other levels, I am in a very unique situation of coming into a college coach position without the standard repertoire and experience that a lot of other coaches do have. And it's completely different. As much as you love basketball and being a basketball player, being in that coaching seat and just kind of seeing how everything is done is really different. So one thing that I did not expect was for him to say, hey, like, you can come on board with us and be a part of our staff this year. I know you don't have the season this year. So that was something that I definitely felt like in a way, like, we don't have our women's program. I feel like this is like stepping back from head coach to an assistant coach spot. However, the humility pill of like into my girls, like the stay hungry thing, is like, who are you to think that you can't learn in any position that you're in? Like, okay, yes, you didn't have the season this year, and you're not in that space of being head coach currently, but that's this current season. Like, that's not something that's permanent. So this was something that I didn't expect again, but it was a great learning opportunity. I think just being able to, one, sit back for a second and just like observe another coach do operations and kind of like game planning and the way that you strategize your different systems and teach, how you kind of incorporate your assistants. Like, you guys asked me about how I incorporate my assistants and the way that I was incorporated into practices and things like that. So just being able to do that with Jared, as well as tons of other coaches that I had more, time to kind of just learn what I needed to be doing differently in comparison to first year. So I think if we had gone through the season, I think it would have been similar to first year, of just kind of like, okay, let me do this, let me do that, let me do this. And there wouldn't have been an opportunity for me to sit and observe another coach do it very, very well, or figure out for myself, okay, what do I want my program? Because nothing's ever just replicated. Like, you can't just copy and paste what somebody else is doing. But you can get a good sense and a template of, how you want to kind of construct your program, and you adapt things, but like those culture pieces cannot be adapted to players or like situations and circumstances. Like, those are our non-negotiables. That is something that just grounds us and roots us. So like, no matter what's coming, like, those are getting stronger under the ground. Like, we can't see it all the time, underneath the surface. But we know something is gonna bloom, and we're just kind of, laying our roots right now. So that's kind of what that time was, and I don't think we would have had roots right now at all if we had kind of proceeded with just trying to get something surface level. So
you've got those roots laid down now. What's maybe part of the vision that you see? What's the vision that you see and you're trying to accomplish over the long term now?
Yeah, long term, I'm going to say, of course, I have goals for us to get back into being competitive, being in those winning columns. We have been to our tournament, our USCAA playoff tournament. I would love to get back there. Having been there and gotten a taste of like what that truly looks like, is like, oh yeah, we can be here. So that's something I would definitely love to be able to accomplish. However, bigger goals, I think just giving a sense to all of my players that you can do whatever you have goals and aspirations to do. I think basketball is one of the greatest tools, games, to give players the value in themselves, to understand nobody can make you quit. Like, you're the only person that decides when you're going to quit. I think sometimes even as a coach, like when you're coaching players and sometimes you're figuring out different ways to reach different players. And sometimes you just get frustrated and you're like, they're not getting it, so I'm just going to stop talking to them. Like, I think sometimes that happens where you're just like I'm going to talk to the ones that want to be coached. However, like when you have that mentality, and I had to like think on that myself, like when I have a mentality of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stop. That's me quitting. And no one can make me do that. Like no player should have the power to make me quit coaching you. Like the only way I'm gonna stop coaching you hard is if you quit. And if you quit, that's not going to be my fault. That's not going to be your teammates' fault. That's going to be your fault because you didn't want to believe in what we believed for you. So that's just one of the bigger pieces, just because basketball doesn't last for forever. But those different things do. Like when you create players that understand how to be there for a teammate, that are there to help somebody up off the ground, understand like, this player made a mistake, but I just made a mistake the last possession. So like, let me act like I've been there before. And when they kind of are feeling down, I see their head drop, let me be the first person to go over there and lift their head up and say like, we're good. Like those different things carry over like way bigger than like who's always got their championship medallion around their neck. Like who's carrying their trophy in their car. But like those are the things that, you know, our players will be able to carry with them forever. Just being a good sister, being a good mother. Like when things are hard, like you can't quit. You have people relying on you. You have to do it anyway. Okay, you're tired. Oh, you don't feel like it. Oh, I'm embarrassed. That's a big thing that sometimes people are afraid of being embarrassed. And it's like, I'm not going to do things for the sake of, this is new. And if I do it, I'm going to have to be embarrassed first. Well, you don't get to be on the other side of the ground, you know, until you kind of go through all of those uncomfortable things. So that is what we're teaching our players right now. And, you know, hopefully that's ripple effect, that is just something that they continue every year with every roster that we have. And we're creating those women in the world.
I kind of want to jump in on what Josh said. So you've kind of given us that vision and dream for the team, for the program, and for the players. What's maybe a personal goal as a coach now that you've got a season under your belt, you've had a season assisting the men's coach. What's something that you're looking at for yourself as a coach, saying, all right, this is my next step in my own development?
Yeah, I think I just want to continue to grow. I am still very new. Like this is my second season. Like I've been in the capacity of head coach for 3 years. This is my second season. So relationally, like I'm learning how to connect with all of my players. I think trying to figure out again how to teach everything to all of our players, because I think when we get to game time, sometimes we are very underprepared as coaches and you don't realize it until it's you're in the game, and at that point, you can't do anything about it. Like, we can't call a timeout and run a practice. So with that being said, I want to be accountable to myself and hold my assistants accountable, that at any point in time that our players aren't doing something the way we wanted, that we didn't teach it well enough. So just being a student of the game, and just seeing how far I can get with, I don't know, being one of the great minds of basketball with my understanding of how the game works, being more than just, I know the little meme or the reel has been going around with the coach that wears all the different hats, but genuinely just being that person that's there for your players. Because like in college, they're away from home, our girls, and we're with each other a lot. So just recognizing that this role is more than just X's and O's, and seeing like in every piece and aspect of it, how well can I also grow and how well can I learn what being a true coach is, whether that's learning from other people and just kind of doing a lot of trial and error and figuring it out as I go. But yeah, I think that is a really big, important piece for me.
One of the ways to grow a program is to recruit good players. And I'm curious, as you've reset the foundation, you have a culture now that is willing to do whatever it takes and work hard and keep the team first. I mean, how are you approaching your recruiting? Is it easier to sell knowing that you have a solid product back on campus, that you can be genuine about, like, hey, we know what we are and this is what we are, and you can be a part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people see through everything if you're not being genuine. So kind of speaking back to, like, if we had proceeded with the year, like, I don't know what I would have told recruits coming in of what they were getting, especially, I don't know. I won't even like try to imagine what, but now where we're at, I absolutely feel very confident in selling what we have to offer as a program. Depending on what players are bringing, I do transparently say, like, our program is not for everyone. Like, we are a family-oriented program, for example. Like, if you're a lone wolf type of person, you kind of like don't really like, this may not be, because my personality is going to be of that kind of like, hey y'all, what's up? And you're not really like, so it may not be the best fit, or what I'm talking about with like pushing you past where you think maybe you can be. I think you have to be willing to be pushed to that extreme. So again, that's one of those type of things. I talk about our systems and things like that with players, just so they do have understandings, because different roles, players may feel more comfortable in different roles and things like that. So no, I think I'm really, really confident with putting out there to players what they would be getting, what we stand for, and definitely like our different culture pieces and things like that.
Well, you were even doing it last year at the All-American event. I mean, I believe Milka and Braylon hadn't committed anywhere to play basketball. And then after that event, started seeing, Milka's going to Andrews, Braylon's committing to Andrews. So that was cool to see. And hopefully we can continue that trend for all of our Adventist colleges. So that is all the questions I had. I don't know if you guys had anything else that you wanted to bring up, but I was just curious how, since we last checked in 3 years ago, how everything's been going, and really just happy for you and the place that you're in and the program that you're building. And we just wish you nothing but success.
Yes, looking forward to seeing how everything goes this year, and we're rooting for you.
Well, thank you guys. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.